Good morning, everybody. Actually, good afternoon. No, still good morning. It's not quite noon yet. It's Sandra coming to you live from here on Ridge Greenhouses. I had a few questions sent to me yesterday that were really good, and I thought, hey, I'm going to do a video about that tomorrow. So here we are. The first question I had sent to me was about blueberries. The person who asked was asking if they can buy soil specifically for blueberries and actually specifically for container growing blueberries. But either way, the same rules apply. So whether you're growing your blueberries in containers, there's a couple of varieties that are recommended for container growing, or whether you're growing blueberries in your garden, you need to have an acidic soil. So we do not sell a soil that comes as an acidic soil. What you need to do, whether you're growing them in a container or in the ground, is blueberries need to have aluminum sulfate or other things that are acidic added to the soil. So this we sell, it's like a shaker container. I think it's probably sealed, so oh no, it's not. So there's little grains in there that look, oh, just spilled a few. There's little grains in there that you just sprinkle on your blueberries on the soil, and it gives you the ratio of how much to use. This says potted plants, you need 3 mils per liter of water if you're going to water soluble it, or you can sprinkle. I just sprinkle it right on the ground on my blueberries. Near as I can tell, I have never yet put too much on my blueberries. Blueberries need really acidic soil. The other thing to know about blueberries is they like to grow in a peatier soil. So peat moss is what you need to add. When I planted my blueberries in my garden, I dug a trench of like just a, I don't know, I don't even remember. It was probably a foot deep. And I filled it right up with peat moss, planted my blueberries, and then backfilled. One thing to keep in mind when you're adding blueberries to peat moss to soil is it's a little bit harder to keep it wet. So that's something you have to be conscious of. Another good way to add acid to your soil is by adding pine needles. That's a natural occurring acid in the earth, so you can add pine needles. If you've got pine trees, you can rake them up and add that into your garden. Blueberries, like I said, want to be acidic. My dad also said composted oak leaves. If you've got an oak tree in your garden, you might want to compost those. They work well if you add them in. Other plants that like to have acidic soil, so you could add aluminum sulfate to, are rhododendrons, azaleas, daffodils, which was kind of surprised me, and hydrangea. So if you ever see blue hydrangeas, hydrangeas don't naturally grow blue, which is why you see the picture of that on this bottle. You have to add aluminum sulfate to the soil to make it acidic for hydrangeas to turn blue. There are parts of the world where soil is naturally acidic and hydrangeas will grow there blue naturally, but unless you add around here, unless you add this to your soil, your hydrangeas will likely be pink, depending on the variety of hydrangea, of course. But if you want that blue hydrangea, you have to add that to your soil. So that was my first question. The other question that was sent to me yesterday was also about soil, and it was specific to cactus and succulents. Do I need to grow my plants in a specific kind of cactus or succulent soil? For best results, the easy answer is yes. So we have, I brought a couple soils out because I thought it's interesting to me that you can also get, this is cactus soil, oh sorry, wrong way, this is cactus soil, a lot of sand in it, makes it really ideal for growing succulents and cactus in. So if you're buying or upsizing any cactus or succulents at home, you should try to have cactus soil. It's got more sand in it, really, which is what those plants naturally grow in when they occur in nature. This is also an interesting one. This is African violet soil, recommended for obviously African violets as well as other flowering plants. Okay, so house plants are a little bit more, well, they'll do better just if you buy a specialty soil. So that's food for thought. You can use any good quality growing medium, but this is what we're recommending for transplanting house plants. The other thing to keep in mind, especially if you're buying succulents or cactus, is the container you're going to put them in. So I grabbed a couple containers that are really catered to that, and it has to do with the shallowness of them. They're not, this is not meant to grow a houseplant in. It's only got, you know, a very shallow area, which is what your houseplant, your succulents and your cactuses will do best in. So this is a great container for growing some succulents in, as are these two. I actually have cactus in this one in my basement window at home that are doing really well. And this is also another cute little dish. So something to keep in mind, I found dishes like that just kind of hanging around from, I don't even know what we had in them previously, but it works good to repurpose them if they're fairly shallow, don't need a lot of soil content for your succulents and cactuses, and these work great. So that's some food for thought. Let me think about what other questions I had. Oh, another question I had was, do I have to repot my houseplants? Do I have to upsize them? The easiest easiest answer to that is your plants will tell you when they need to be upsized. If you've had this beautiful plant and all of a sudden it starts to look like it's failing, if you've been watering it well and caring for it and really nothing has changed, it could easily be that it's getting root bound. So then you do need to repot it and upsize it. You don't, if it's looking healthy, there's no reason that you have to upsize things. I mean, you can tell sometimes. Actually, one of my girls has a fern at home that looks fantastic. It's doing really, really well, but it's actually cracked the pot that it's in. It's in like a pottery kind of pot. The roots have come out. There was a hole in the bottom. The roots have come out the bottom, and it's actually cracked the pot. So it clearly has decided that it needs to be upsized because it's breaking out of its current container. So that's one good indication. Yeah, but again, like if it's looking healthy, you don't have to upsize things. If I tend to find I kind of get used to a certain container in a certain spot. So when I have to upsize, I tend to repot a smaller plant because I don't want to move the container. I don't know if that makes sense. And then I just find a new spot in my home for that new upsized pot. But it's really up to you. If things are looking good and growing well, I say leave it as it is and keep caring for your plants. The other thing that I was just going to mention is I had somebody email me to see if their ornamental grass is dead because it's looking really well, dead outside. And ornamental grasses, if you've planted them as a perennial grass, will still be looking very dormant. There's a lot of perennials I have in my yard that sometimes you can't hardly even tell if they're alive yet this time of year. Rest assured, they probably are, especially because we had a pretty mild winter this past winter. I'd be surprised if most of your perennials didn't make it through the winter. Be patient. If you do decide, if something is dormant, it's a really good time to split it if you want to split it. Grasses in particular need to be split every so often or they start to again fail. They start to go backwards, and that's a good indication that they need to be split. One of my Lorraine, my sister-in-law, who is at the greenhouse here a few years ago, had a hosta bed that was really starting to get, it was just too tight. The plants had nowhere to go, so she divided out a lot of her hostas, which was a win for me because I got a new hosta bed at my house. So definitely if things are starting to look overcrowded or are tending to go backwards in their health, it's something to consider, but don't be alarmed if your perennials are still looking dormant this year. It's pretty early. I know, we're all dying for spring, and the weather this week has just been crazy. So we're hoping for better weather over the weekend, that we can start feeling spring-like. The other thing I just thought I would mention to you, if you are really, really super keen, we do have some herbs in, and Lorraine did a little herb garden. This is kind of heavy because it's a big one, in a root pouch. So these are our root pouches that are made out of recycled water bottles that have been ground up and spun. This is what they look like empty, much easier to lift up. This is a little smaller size than what Lorraine potted up. This would be a great root pouch for putting herbs in. You could even put like oregano. You could slice a little hole in the side because it's fabric. And the other thing that we put in the side was mint. And then you could put 2 or 3 in the top and you'd have a nice little herb garden. Would be fine in your kitchen for the next couple weeks. And then once the weather gets nicer, just plop it outside your patio door or outside your kitchen door so you've got some nice herbs to cook from. That you can just use regular potting soil for. You don't have to have houseplant soil or anything fancy like that. Just grab some Pro Mix or something like that and you can plant away. If you have any questions, send me an email, send me a comment in this video. I do my best to answer the comments and then I'll also probably use it in a future video. So that's great to have. Any other questions? Like I said, shoot me a message or send us a call or whatever we can do to help you out. We're so pleased that so many of you are making your way to our website and finding some things there that you're interested in. And yeah, we're going to keep adding to our web store every day. I'm not sure what's going on today. I think some tropicals maybe. So that's kind of fun. We did get some hibiscus in, as you can see behind me on the bench, these beautiful yellow flowers. I'm not sure if these are going online quite yet today, but we're going to be taking care of them for you in the meantime. And stay tuned for more great gardening stuff headed your way. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye for now.